Dr. Watson, would you kindly close the door behind you so that we can limit the price of your carelessness to merely hours of work rather than days?
My apologies, Mr. Holmes. I found myself rather taken aback. I saw tidier houses in war-torn Afghanistan. Are those my surgical needles?
I ran out of tacks and the matter required immediate attention.
Was that my supper?
Plainly not, for I was the one who ate it.
I set it aside for this evening.
And for that I am grateful.
Is that my bed?
Watson, since you've proven yourself a master of observation, might I ask you to apply your skills to a more pertinent question? Namely, the whereabouts of today's newspapers. They are the key to everything. The newsboy is usually reliable.
Medically speaking, I often find that the key to everything is good sleep. In a bed. Your papers are here, on the table.
Let us see what the postman brought today.
This mess is getting out of hand. What will the landlady think?
Local gossip, all of it uninteresting. Your order from Barnes' bookshop has arrived, Doctor.
Barnes insists on delivering the books to our door, even though we could easily walk to his shop. That's good service.
Another letter from Werner. I never reply, but they keep coming. I don't see the Strand. Where is it?
Pardon me?
I am on the precipice of uncovering a pattern of crime across London spanning many months and involving many men. The missing paper cannot be a coincidence.
That's preposterous.
My dear fellow, life is infinitely stranger than anything which the mind of man can invent.
Well, life used your newspaper to wipe its posterior, so after that unpleasant discovery this morning, I disposed of it. But in lieu of the Strand, perhaps I can deliver you something equally tantalizing. I have just returned from a patient of mine, Captain Stemwick, who...
No, that will not do. Grab your coat, Dr. Watson. Let us hope nobody has collected the dustbin.
The dustbin is yours for the digging, Mr. Holmes.
A cactus spine. If it gets in your skin, it's awfully tricky to remove, and when laced with poison, the perfect assassination tool. You were mistaken, Dr. Watson. The paper was indeed dirtied, but not how you implied. It's potting soil. See, Watson? The conspiracy is real. Someone tried to poison me.
Poison? You? That's madness.
Get the Strand. Get your copy of the Strand here. Sorry, Mr. Holmes. I just sold my last paper.
Glassed. Then why are you still here?
Boss pays by the hour. No sense in returning early.
Any breaking news today?
The dock accident. It's the talk of the town.
Yes. Besides the tripe on the front page, anything about burglaries?
I'm not sure, sir.
You're a bright child. I presume you see everything that goes on around here?
Nothing gets past me, mister.
Then tell me, did you notice anyone suspicious at my door this morning?
Like the man with your newspaper?
Precisely. What do you know?
I know the value of a shilling.
Dr. Watson.
Cool, now I can take the day off.
Did you see what he was up to?
Nah, not really. I saw him approaching your house, but I had a customer. Then there's a loud bang. I ducked down. Not because I was scared, because I wasn't. I had to protect the merchandise, and all I could see was him kneeling at your door.
Can you describe the man you saw?
He was carrying a lot of books. Up to his chin they were.
Never heard of a well-read assassin.
Looks can deceive. Hence the appeal of disguises. Which way did he go?
Not sure. I was distracted by customers. Sorry.
All right. You earned your shilling. That'll be all.
Thanks, Mr. Holmes. Maybe I could be your eyes and ears, if you have more shillings.
Do you even
Get the
have
Strand.
enemies
Get
that
your
would want
copy of
to
the
kill
Strand
you?
here.
Okay, perhaps from Cordona. How about that Vogel fellow? He seems rather obsessed with you.
Get
Would
the
he
Strand.
do something
Get
like
your
this?
copy of the Strand here.
Why go through all this scheming to murder you? A spine stuck to the newspaper is hardly lethal. A ruined newspaper is hardly the end of the world. We can always buy another. A ruined newspaper is hardly the end of the world. We can always buy another. Come now, Mr. Holmes. Murder? Yes, Barnes has his quirks, but he also has his scruples.
Not every pawn knows it's part of a game.
Get the Strand! Get your copy of the Strand here! What does it say? No seams or torn fabric on this doll. Likely one-legged by design. A treasure hunt. Used to do lots of those in my childhood for myself and...
Is it a call for help? A bad joke?
or both. Better not risk leaving this matter ignored, don't you think?
A ruined newspaper is hardly the end of the world. We can always buy another. A ruined newspaper is hardly the end of the world. We can always buy another.
Impressive stature, strong gaze. I think this man deserves a knighthood.
Really, Holmes? How can you be so sure?
On rare occasions, Watson, it can suffice to trust one's gut. Can I ask you a question?
Sorry, sir. I can't help you.
A small minecart. Endearing, if disturbing. Looks like putting something in the slot may get the gears inside to move. A model of a homely room and fireplace. A model of a homely room and fireplace. Chimney bears a peculiar form, like it's meant to have something put inside. Looks like a factory to me. Wonder what could get the gears inside moving. Anne. Children's clothes, judging by the size. Padlocks have names etched onto them. Anne, Tom, Charles. What a grim view. My gratitude, Sir Arthur. What's this? What's this?
No. I can't believe it. Oh, no.
Unnaturally, but seems to be for me. Tom. Charles. Last doll. Seems recently made. Tom, Charles, Anne, and Mary. Not sure I like the treasure hunt's ending.
Could we really have saved her, Holmes?
No. Solving this crime is beyond my reach. It is society who must work on sparing children from death by hard labor.
A ruined newspaper is hardly the end of the world. We can always buy another.
Mr. Barnes, a word. Oh, for goodness sake.
Who goes there?
Sherlock Holmes! Now will you please...
Mr. Holmes. Golly, I did not see you come in.
Would you care to answer some questions for me?
Well, I wish I could, but I am deep in the weeds with work. How about we reschedule in a month or two?
Come now, Mr. Barnes. It will only take a moment.
Really deep in the weeds with important things. Well, help yourself to any book. Just take it and pay later. I trust you, Mr. Holmes.
Barnes doesn't seem like himself. Why is he acting this way?
You're asking the right questions, Doctor. Let's find a way to coax him out. The ladder is broken recently, judging by the freshness of the wood.
Barnes has always been a little odd, but this is uncharacteristic even for him.
So, Barnes has a dog now. Who's a good boy? So, Barnes has a dog now. Who's a good boy?
We're looking for a cactus needle in a haystack. A spine in a book stack? No, come on, Watson, think. I like bookshops. One of the few spots in London where you are shunned for making a racket. Didn't you once tell me that answers usually lie in plain sight? Didn't you once tell me that answers usually lie in plain sight?
I could hardly imagine anything more macabre. Basics of cryptoanalysis, cryptography in Egypt. It appears Barnes has an interesting hobby. The finest view London has to offer. An improvised stand, but it does make the flowers more visible. In the language of Mycroft's secret agents, it's a sign. Dried flowers are replaced when the job is done. I wonder who the recipient is.
Apologies, but I can't hear you. Please come back later.
Didn't you once tell me that answers usually lie in plain sight? Didn't you once tell me that answers usually lie in plain sight?
The weather is dreary, isn't it? To be fair, my flowers could use the rainfall.
Encouraging people to stop and smell the roses?
Our national emblem. God save the Queen.
It must take patience and care to produce a bloom so beautiful.
I imagine so. I merely sell them.
A familiar spine? Is this what I found in my dustbin? pot is damaged. The blow was severe, but softened by something.
Anything tickle your fancy, Mr. Holmes?
Mrs. Fleming, you look particularly lovely today. Is there a reason?
Does a woman need a reason to look or feel beautiful?
No, but your distant look suggests you seek one man's gaze in particular.
Who told you that?
Nobody. Merely a keen eye and some simple deduction.
Well, I'll kindly ask you to keep your keen eye to yourself, Mr. Holmes.
One of these things is not like the other.
Come again?
The cactus. Those fearsome spines can prove a dole to remove, and the sap is often toxic.
And a rose thorn can give you tetanus, but we still grow them. The cactus seems comparatively harmless, though you have me thinking it must be valuable.
I was under the impression that you knew its price already.
Your guess is as good as mine. The first time I saw this cactus was when I came back from my break.
What do you make of the flowers in Barnes' shop window?
Well, they could use a bit of water.
Do they mean anything to you?
Mean anything how? I'm not sure I follow, Mr. Holmes.
Why do you think they're there?
Are you suggesting the flowers are for me?
It seems likely, does it not?
Oh, I hope you're right.
Are you familiar with Mr. Barnes?
Yes. No, not really. Well, in a way.
What on earth does that mean?
I know who he is, of course, but we haven't shared much more than a look.
A look?
Yes. Each morning I go for a walk in the park with my dog, and most days I spot Mr. Barnes there with his new puppy, so we see each other. Actually, we once met briefly while our dogs played. He was quiet and seemed unsteady as he approached, but since then, we've never spoken. I often see him staring through the shop window. Sometimes I wonder what he thinks about that would etch such longing onto his face.
I think perhaps I have been chasing shadows.
Do not despair, Mr. Holmes. Even the best of us make mistakes. We better tell Mr. Barnes what we've learned.
Mr. Barnes, I know what you did, and I know why you did it.
I'm sorry, Mr. Holmes. I can't hear you very well from behind the door.
I couldn't read this morning's edition of The Strand because it was covered in soil and spines. I know you dropped a cactus on it and then fled. You ordered a cactus from the plant catalogue and then left it for Mrs. Fleming as a gift. You place flowers in the window to get her attention and wear high heels to appear taller and more desirable. You are her secret admirer.
Barnes, it's Dr. Watson. Rest assured we are not interested in disclosing your personal affairs to anyone, including Mrs. Fleming. Please come out.
All right, then.
So, you know what happened then? I was on my way back from the post office, having picked up the cactus and some books. It was quite an awkward package, heavy too, and when I got to your door, I dropped the cactus and your paper. Forgive me.
I needed that paper to prove a theory and prevent a crime. Your actions were rather disruptive. Your clumsiness carrying the post is matched only by the clumsiness of your romantic gesture.
Oh, it's true. I am useless with this sort of thing. I'm not even sure if Mrs. Fleming noticed.
As in most things in life, truth is the answer. Cease with the abstruse signals and anonymous gifts, and simply talk to the woman. What is the worst that can happen? She rejects you, and you are freed from this endless purgatory.
Yes, you are correct, of course. I do have a slight tendency to overthink things. Thank you.
So, at last, we return to the matter of the paper. I'm investigating a string of burglaries. Did you perhaps read of any before the edition was spoiled?
I don't recall, but you're welcome to read our copy for yourself.
You had an issue of The Strand here all along?
Well, naturally. I am a bookseller. I have a subscription to every magazine and newspaper in London.
So you ought to be familiar with the concept of burying the lead.
Oh no, my apologies, Mr. Holmes. I'll make it up to you however I can. I am an expert on obscure languages and translation and
Yes, okay. Just give me the paper. Come, Dr. Watson. Let us put this matter behind us.
Farewell, Mr. Barnes. I hope to hear good news about you and Mrs. Fleming.
Let me know if there's any way I can make it up to you. Tell you what, tomorrow's edition of The Strand is on me.
Well, that was an utter waste of time.
An assassination did seem rather unlikely.
There was supposed to be another burglary. I was certain of it. Something you wish to say, Doctor?
No. Well, only that you have a remarkable faculty for deduction and pattern recognition, and that perhaps, if ill-applied...
I see things that are not there.
Yes. It is London. There will always be burglaries. Doesn't have to mean anything.
So it seems. Forgive me. Without something to occupy my mind, I turn into an entirely different animal.
Which brings us back to my news from earlier. I think I have a case for you, a real one.
Truly?
Indeed. Though perhaps not as thrilling as your stories from Cordona. A patient of mine, Captain Stenwick, told me that his servant disappeared. I said I knew just the man to help. What do you say?
Oh, Watson.
Yes, I know it's not the most tantalizing mystery, nor the story to launch my writing career. But...
it's brilliant. Let's go.
Oh, good. Well, his house is nearby. Come. Stenwick is just down the street from Barnes's bookshop. Stenwick is just down the street from Barnes's bookshop. Not much further now. Stenwick is just down the street from Barnes's bookshop.
Get the Strand. Get your copy of the Strand here.
Stenwick is just down the street from Barnes's bookshop.
Is this lousy attitude of yours because of my altercation with Inspector Lockhart? Did he put you up to this?
Sir, the inspector has nothing to do with it. I'm telling you the same thing I tell anyone seeking a missing person.
Good day, gentlemen. Forgive the intrusion. Captain Stenwick, this is my colleague Sherlock Holmes, the consulting detective I told you about.
At last, a professional. This useless officer refuses to do anything about Kimmy here, my missing servant. What was your name again? I shall be certain to inform your superiors.
Sergeant Ruffles. And it's my superiors who made this decision, sir.
Have there been other disappearances lately?
Of course, here and there. But when life is tough and opportunity comes knocking, you can't blame those who answer.
Why has the police department decided not to help?
We investigate murders, thefts, fraud, arson, real crimes. A servant walking away from his master is not our highest priority. That said, if we find Kimahia breaking the law, we'll be sure to notify Captain Stenwick. Now, I must be off. Best of luck in your search.
You heard that, didn't you? The way that man spoke to me. I shall need your written testimony. Then we can lodge a complaint.
Captain, perhaps Mr. Holmes' time is better spent learning about your servant, so that he may begin his investigation.
Ah, yes. Quite right. Fire away.
Tell me about Kimahia.
He's foreign. A Maori. All the way from New Zealand. Biggest man you've ever seen, and as strong as two. Dark hair and fearsome tattoos. He doesn't speak a whit of English. Never bothered to learn. But I made do with pointing. I invested a lot of money in him, so he must be found.
When did you last see your servant?
Kimmy here normally brings me the morning papers, but yesterday I had to get them myself. He must have escaped the night before yesterday.
May I see your servant's bedroom?
His shack is in the garden. You can't miss it.
Did you search the room?
Of course, but only to check he wasn't lying dead inside. Everything seemed normal at a glance.
I take it this is the first time Kimahia has vanished?
Undoubtedly. The man seemed terrified of the city. I think it was all the noise. He never left this estate. Should he cause any damage, I will bear the responsibility, for it was I who rescued him from savagery and brought him here to England in the first place.
Is there any reason Kimahia may have left?
I should think not. He had all he could have wanted. Gainful employment, new clothes, and all the cabbage he could eat.
Did Kimahia make off with anything of value?
Heavens, no. I would have mentioned it to Sergeant Ruffles.
Still, he must have fled with some money on his person?
No. I kept his wages in my safe. For security.
All right, Captain. I think I have enough to get started. We shall first take a look around the mansion.
Go ahead. I'll be here, mentally drafting my complaint.
Stenwick makes his servant live in a tool shed. You think you know someone. Do you think Kimmy here had an accomplice in his escape? Yes, Stenwick is no angel, but he's one of my few clients. Please, try to remain courteous. This disappearance is intriguing, no? I cannot make head nor tail of it. This disappearance is intriguing, no? I cannot make head nor tail of it.
Looks like a knee print. Chewing tobacco. A shoe print, roughly size 11, with a worn-out sole. These are a workman's boots. Someone knelt here. The amount of chewing tobacco suggests they were waiting a while.
Amazing, Mr. Holmes. To read the ground like an open book.
This lock is quite unusual. It appears that the key should be bent to the right. Could have left these tracks. They seem fresh. The rag reeks of smoke. Someone plugged the chimney. Clothes made of Hessian. Is Stenwick really so miserly? Mutton chops. The remains of a meal. A heavy chemical odour. Lend me your nose, Doctor.
Ah, I'll never forget that smell after my time in Afghanistan. That's an opioid, Mr. Holmes, a narcotic.
The ashes are long since cold. No air coming through it. A scrap of Hessian. These were sturdy boxes. It would have required a serious blow to break them. Impressive. The sack of grain retained the shape of an impact. Someone hit their head here. A small navy spyglass.
Someone moved a cart to this spot and then took it elsewhere. Can't see it anywhere in the garden. The door to your garden has an interesting lock.
Yes, I have uncommon locks on every door of my mansion. It makes them harder to pick. Kimmy here and I both had a set of keys.
I'll need to borrow them.
No, you'll need to do what I tell you to do. Examine the garden.
Is this spyglass familiar?
I don't recognize it.
Could it be Kimahir's, perhaps?
I doubt it. I never saw him with it, nor could I suggest how he might have come by it.
Do you happen to know Kimahir's shoe size?
I wouldn't have the foggiest, but I'm sure it was enormous. Not that it matters. He spent his life barefoot. Despite my best efforts, he simply did not take to shoes.
Has Kimahir ever indulged in tobacco?
No, the man doesn't even drink.
Are you certain? I found chewing tobacco in the garden.
I controlled Kimahir's expenses since he struggled with the currency. I would have known if he used tobacco.
I came across a pile of Hessian clothes in the shack. Are they Kimahir's?
Yes. I had to give him something to clothe himself. He seemed unfazed by his bare skin, but I found it distracting.
Surveilling from afar, the intruder waited for a window of opportunity. When Kimahir went to sleep, the man crept up to the shack and slipped narcotics down the chimney pipe, then blocked it with a cloth. Kimahir inhaled the sedative and fell into a deep sleep. The intruder tried to move him, but the man was heavier than expected. The intruder fell on the sack and dropped his spyglass. In order to transport the servant, he had to use the cart. The final challenge was opening the garden door. Luckily for our intruder, Kimahir had the key in his shack.
Remarkable. It makes total sense.
You'd best have found something by now, gentlemen.
I found the residue of narcotics in Kimahir's brazier. There are several explanations, perhaps your servant's recreational interest, or an attempt at poisoning.
Cut to the chase, Mr. Holmes.
You said that you checked the shack earlier. Did you notice the cart tracks near it? Now, one ought to expect a servant to make regular use of such a thing. Indeed, I would have overlooked the detail were it not for the cart's absence. If, as you say, Kimahir never leaves your estate, then where did it go?
I expect answers from you, Mr. Holmes, not questions.
I fear that someone may have spied upon Kimahir. Likely the owner of the spyglass I found earlier. It appears they were watching for some time, as there was an impressive amount of chewing tobacco on the ground.
And your point?
I won't keep you in suspense any longer, Captain. Kimahir was abducted by the owner of the spyglass. When your servant fell asleep, he slipped a narcotic into Kimahir's brazier to make him sleep even more soundly. In order to carry a man as large as Kimahir, the intruder stole the cart and rolled him right out of your garden.
Now, hold on. All this simply to tell me what I already know? Why haven't you found him yet?
I only arrived a moment ago. It is, frankly, incredible that I have already deduced so much.
Every second you dawdle here, waiting for me to stroke your ego, is another second wasted. I'm not interested in the how, the why, or the who. I am only interested in recovering my investment. Spare me the claptrap, boy, and go and fetch my servant.
Truly, there is no better evidence of a man's nature than the way he treats those who help him. And you, sir, are a brute. The cruelty of your ignorance about the Maori people, your selfish attitude to a man's kidnapping.
The point is, Captain, we're telling you this for a reason. The intruder fled through the garden door, and we need a key to follow his trail.
Well, then you should have led with that. Here you go. I hope you'll return soon with good news. And in the meantime, please teach your companion the art of brevity.
Sturdy rope, professionally tied in a Portuguese bowline. This knot is often used by sailors to create a bosun's chair. Wheels picked up grass along the way. Kimahir's cart, I gather. Roy Soulsby. Could that be the name of our man? A strange substance. I have my suspicions based on the colour and consistency, but would you care to hazard a guess, Doctor?
Well, it's odorless, but from the way it absorbs water, I'd say saltpeter.
Then we're in agreement. Well done. The Strand proved not so useless after all. The saltpeter accident. Doctor, do you recall?
The Port of London, of course. The footwear, the spyglass.
Indeed. We shall need to take a cab there.
Why are you still here?
Where to, Gav? The Port of London, please. I will show you where to stop.
Mr. Holmes, what a compelling mystery we have stumbled upon. Perhaps I have the premise of my next novel.
One kidnapping does not a story make.
Stop! A black cat crossed before us. It's a bad omen.
I did not take you for the superstitious type, Doctor. Such things are mere fantasies, tricks of a feeble mind. One imagines a physician would keep a surer footing in reality.
Perhaps. Before the war, my time abroad was difficult. Once, I came across an Afghan, bleeding, who I could not save. He pressed a rosary into my hand. A gift, he said, so as to gain God's favor. After that...
Dr. Watson?
Yes, well, I shan't get into details, but sometime later I found myself lost in the desert. Dehydration set in, and things grew ever more dire. The man's words came to me. I said a prayer and placed the rosary on a rock. A gift to gain God's favor.
And you were rescued?
Yes. A detachment of British soldiers found me.
To whom I'm grateful. For without their diligence, you would not be standing here and I would not have this case.
I'm sure you have another explanation prepared, Mr. Holmes, but I think I shall cling to the occasional superstition all the same.
To each his own, Dr. Watson. So long as it does not interfere with my methods, to wit, we must press on, cat or no cat. The question remains, why abduct Kimahir?
Oh, hardly a reputable establishment.
I've seen worse. Greetings, miss. I'm hoping you can help us.
We shall soon see.
Miss, what if I told you that you are in the family way?
No, really? Oh, thank you, sir. How would I, a simple woman, have ever known without your help? You must be a doctor.
In a manner of speaking.
He's not. He merely has the ego of one. I apologize, miss. Mr. Holmes is fond of his observations, but I am the doctor here, not him. Do you need any help?
I'm fine, thank you. I would rather not discuss my condition, nor let word of it spread.
I heard tell of a recent explosion in the port. What do you know of it?
Ah, yes. Something exploded in a ship's cargo hold. Caused a terrible blaze. The sky was red with smoke till morning.
Where precisely did it occur?
The ship sank near the third pier, next to the dockyard.
My colleague and I are seeking a burly man, above average height, with workman's boots.
Half my customers, then. Your description hardly narrows things down.
We must go.
Oh, no. No chance of a pint, then.
Ma Dalton swears she saw ghosts in Warehouse 2. The coppers even went over there. Must be serious.
Yeah.
Good evening, Constable. I heard some people talking of ghosts in this warehouse.
Gossips, all of them. An old lady neighbour saw some lights and ghostly shapes in the middle of the night. She heard music too. Turns out this was the warehouse of Grandpa Kujak. He owned a business with theatre props for scary shows. I went in and... well, it is a bit creepy. But I think it was probably just some kids fooling around.
Do you mind if I take a look inside?
Not at all. It's like Madame Tussauds, only worse. I'll be on the beat round the pub for the rest of the night. Damned explosion. Good night, sir.
An effective contraption. It still works.
It appears that the saltpeter explosion rattled the locals. Can't blame them for staying at home. It's a large harbour. If our kidnapper is hiding here, finding him won't be easy. How can I help? I could try and flag someone down. If we stay out much longer, I'm going to need some supper. Do you feel like a meat pie? If we stay out much longer, I'm going to need some supper. Do you feel like a meat pie?
There was a box in the coffin. It was removed quite recently. A herbal odour with an ethylic base. Liquor? They opened the casket and left marks. Phosphorus, used recently. Where is this going? Who is this intended to scare? Several crates are missing. Somebody had fun. Bottles of various shapes and sizes. I detect a mix of chemicals and aromas. No brand or markings. It looks like a bulk product. Inspired by the legend of Sleepy Hollow. That's most likely the ghost the old lady saw through the window. A small cart left those tracks. Somebody played with phosphorus to give the illusion of ghosts or ectoplasm. In reality, they were here to mix a few ingredients and prepare a solution of some sort. Then they took a box hidden inside the casket. And they left through that gate with a small cart. Dr. Tippett's electric pectobrain. Patent medicine of the future.
This is a patent medicine. A quick fix at an expensive price that drags the patient slowly into death.
Do you know anything about this?
I don't think anyone here knows the answer. You should ask someone else.
The coffin won't go away and the doctor's too pricey.
Excuse me, just one question.
I think I can help you.
The coffin won't go away and the doctor's too pricey.
Where are we? The field hospital? The cart from Warehouse 2. Good evening, sir. Are you the gentleman who sells that intriguing pecto-brain beverage?
Good evening, gentlemen. I'm Dr. Thomas Tippett, and yes, its proud inventor and purveyor.
Are you a doctor? You seem remarkably young.
I'm self-educated. I help people in need around these parts with my medicine.
Helping, as in bringing to the grave?
That is unfair, sir. The virtues of my invention are to calm the nerves, to stop coughing due to the endless smog, and to help children to sleep.
Has your beverage been tested by your peers or any medical authority? I am a doctor, and it appears that you are playing with people's lives, people who place their trust in you to ease their pain.
People need help, and drugs are expensive. My formula helps, and it's inexpensive. The product is dispensed from here only, so dose and usage are controlled. I looked into other patented medicines. They contain harmful or useless substrate, and they're sold in respected shops and pharmacies.
Do you realize what you are doing? You are playing with people's health.
You are a doctor. Take a look at my product. You won't find mercury, radium, lithium, or any other toxic substances drowned in alcohol and sold freely by so-called health professionals. I can show you how I work. Let me help people.
Watson, what do you make of this situation?
I'm not sure. Patent medicines can be a scourge, yes, but he is not entirely wrong in practice.
Why the haunted warehouse?
Well, nobody was using it, and people are afraid of ghosts. It kept them away until today. What I do is not entirely legal, but I do help people. I help up to 50 people here every day. It is working.
I can hear the patient suffers with their lungs. If we stay out much longer, I'm going to need some supper. Do you feel like a meat pie? Constable? My name is Dr. Watson. A man called Thomas Tippett has opened a field hospital nearby and is selling illegal medicine there. He is using Warehouse 2 for his smuggled product. Please stop him.
I knew it was a swindle. Real ghosts don't look like that. I'll check on this crook right away.
Is there a doctor? The man is very sick here.
It sounds as though those people will need my help.
Could you help me?
It is a shame I can't answer your question.
Excuse me, just one question.
I'm sorry, but I don't know anything.
Excuse me, just one question.
I don't think anyone here knows the answer. You should ask someone else.
Hello, this is Dr. Watson. We'll take a look at your friend. Freshly dug up treasures, it seems.
Everything ends up in a river. It's a good thing these
The
people
water has a
take something
curious
from it.
whitish tinge to it. The subject is hyperventilating. He has a pale face and dilated pupils. Dilated pupils, decolorized skin, necrosis. What do you make of this, Doctor?
All signs point towards acute poisoning. It could possibly be due to chemicals. I won't jump to any conclusions yet.
Could you help me?
Sorry, sir, I can't help you.
If we stay out much longer, I'm going to need some supper. Do you feel like a meat pie?
Are you able to help me?
I don't think anyone here knows the answer. You should ask someone else.
Is this familiar to you?
Sorry, sir, I can't help you.
What are you looking at? Do you like to watch our man suffocate himself for food?
Hello, lad. Is this where I may find Dea?
You read the poster? Yes? You know where my brother Girves is?
Sadly, no. Well, not yet. Where did you last see Girves?
He worked at a, warehouse. This man, Roy Solby, gave him the job. He paid him a necklace.
Do you still have the necklace that Soulsby gave to Girves?
Girves left it near the, shrine. I tried to sell it to buy Amma medicine, but no one wanted to buy.
How would you describe this Soulsby?
He was big and strong. He had a big scary eye.
Scary, you say?
Yes, like it was made of metal.
I want to speak to Dea. Is she around?
Amma, my mother, she got sick after the fire. Big red smoke. She couldn't breathe, so I took her to the doctor. Now I am in charge.
Don't go anywhere.
I miss Girves. Do you think he's okay?
This cheap pendant looks like silver, but it's only made of tin. No surprise the boy couldn't sell it. Can I ask you a question?
Ugh, I'm sorry, but I don't know anything.
May I ask you something?
No, sir, I've never heard of it.
Can you satisfy my curiosity?
I don't think anyone here knows the answer. You should ask someone else.
If we stay out much longer, I'm going to need some supper. Do you feel like a meat pie?
Have you ever heard of a man with a metallic eye?
I've seen him even. Dirty Summers is the name. A nasty lout, with a silver ball in place of a missing eye.
I shudder to ask, but where does one find a Dirty Summers?
He likely signed on with a ship. I am not one to spy on others, let alone him.
I see.
My advice, keep away from him.
We must go.
Oh, no. No chance of a pint, then.
Excuse me, just one question.
No, sir, I've never heard of it.
May I ask for your assistance?
Sorry, sir, I can't help you.
Can you satisfy my curiosity?
No, sorry. I know nothing.
If we stay out much longer, I'm going to need some supper. Do you feel like a meat pie?
Can I ask you a question?
As much as I'd like to help you, I know nothing about this.
Can you satisfy my curiosity?
As much as I'd like to help you, I know nothing about this.
Do you know anything about this?
No, sir, I've never heard of it.
Are you able to help me?
I don't think anyone here knows the answer. You should ask someone else.
Not in the mood, mate. Shoo!
Pardon me, sir. I am looking for Roy...
Oh, not again. Yes, I'm Roy. But I can't help you find your uncle or whoever you've lost.
Now, what makes you think I would inquire about missing people?
You are the fourth person to ask this week. Just because I work at the port doesn't mean I keep track of everyone who comes here.
May I ask what you're doing here?
This is where the ship sank the other day. I'm trying to work out how we'll remove it.
You say we are not the first to ask you about a disappearance. Do you recall anything about those who came inquiring?
I only remember the foreign woman. I didn't catch her name, but those are her posters hanging up everywhere. She has badgered me twice now, but I still don't know nothing.
And this woman can be found?
No clue. She was talking gibberish.
Now, where was I?
Sorry, doesn't ring a bell.
I have been told that you hired Dea's son, Girves, right before he vanished. His brother also said you had a metal eye. What do you make of this?
Tell that him to stop making things up. Can't help you there, mate. Sorry, doesn't ring a bell. Sorry, doesn't ring a bell. What are you on about? Can't help you there, mate.
Have you seen this before?
My card? Where did you dig that up?
At a crime scene near Baker Street involving a young servant's kidnapping, I might add.
No. Someone used it without my consent. How else would it end up there? That boat explosion stopped most traffic coming into the port. Guess I'll be without work for a while.
Never heard of it. Never heard of it. Doesn't look like anything to me. Never heard of it. Have you been drinking? Doesn't look like anything to me. Never heard of it.
What do you know about this poster?
A foreign woman asked to put it up. She's plastered them all over the port.
Any clues as to her whereabouts?
None. It was hard to understand what she was saying. Never heard of it. Doesn't look like anything to me.
Are you familiar with a Roy Soulsby?
Roy Soulsby? I know the name, but he's not one of my regulars. My guess is that he works somewhere around here.
What are you gawping at?
Mr. Soulsby, you know more than you're letting on.
What makes you say that?
A man named Dirty Summers was involved in some recent kidnappings across London. He used your name as a cover for his deeds.
What? Really? That doesn't mean I'm involved, though.
Your calling card was found at the crime scene. That's enough to make you a suspect.
You cannot be serious.
It's true. And that's before mentioning your gold watch. It's brand new and awfully expensive for a customs officer. Clearly you have found yourself another source of income. I'm sure Scotland Yard will be delighted to investigate further.
All right, stop. Look, it's not as it seems. I did not partake in the kidnappings.
I'm all ears, Mr. Soulsby.
Yes, I know Summers. He paid me to turn a blind eye to his business in the warehouse area. Just that. On my word.
You did not tell me which warehouse he used?
I do not recall, but I used red paint to mark unsupervised warehouses. Ought to be one of them.
What else can you say of Summers?
He is a regular at the Cursed Mermaid. Goes there with his crew almost every evening.
What for?
I don't know. I assumed just for a drink.
Why do I have the feeling that you know more about Dirty Summers than you're letting on?
I have nothing more to add, sir.
Enough. I have hard evidence that Summers was involved in recent kidnappings across London.
I'm not surprised. So what?
A customs officer, Roy Soulsby, testified that Summers was a regular here. You must know something about his business.
All I know is his drinks order.
If the lives of the missing do not concern you, then I would urge you to think about your unborn child.
Are you threatening me?
Nothing of the sort, but that doesn't mean that there won't be consequences for your silence. Everyone knows you happily served Summers and his crew. Should the police come knocking, you'll be the one going away. And none of us wish to see you raise a child behind bars. Now, spare yourself the trouble and tell me all you know.
Okay. Summers hired my private room. I think he used it to recruit people, but I haven't seen him in a few days. He paid me cash, so I paid him no attention. Nor did I touch anything inside. Here's the key, go and do what you will. Just leave me out of it.
Strange symbols. I don't recognize them. £5. That won't go far. The hairs on the back of my neck stood up. The hairs on the back of my neck stood up. The hairs on the back of my neck stood up.
Really, Holmes, this ought to be beneath you.
As my brother would say, it is for the greater good. The scratches are fresh, left by something metallic. There are a couple of marks on this end. Good quality, but torn in many spots. Mould. That's why you don't leave sailcloth lying out. planks were broken with force. The layers of rust will prevent any movement. This crank saw some use. It's stuck. No one's used it in a very long time. Well oiled and well maintained. Fit for a crank. A hidden passage, just as I expected. pile of rotten food. It carries danger, but not of the kind that we witnessed. Gruesome. It's been decomposing for weeks. If this were the origin of the disease, it would have started sooner than a few days ago. The waterway goes under the buildings. We'll need to find other open sections in order to continue our search. Do you know anything about this?
Sorry, sir, I can't help you.
What are you looking at? Do you like to watch how a man suffocates himself for food? What are you looking at? Do you like to watch how a man suffocates himself for food?
This pipe disposes of wastewater from a factory, a possible culprit, but would likely have caused trouble a long time ago. Moving on. Human waste. Despite looking fairly hazardous, I doubt it could cause such acute poisoning. I can't see any other major source of contamination in this section of the waterway. Perhaps another place. A recent cart crash. Phenol, a dangerous substance often used as a sanitizer, coming from Spade Chemicals. The fish's scales have decolorized. What a disaster. Could you help me?
Of course I know. To cut a long story short.
Sort of thing? Oh,
Barrels of phenol from your company ended up in the canal. It has poisoned people. You will need to clean it up properly. Otherwise, we will inform the authorities.
What the... We will call the cleaning brigade immediately. I hope this can stay between us.
Gentlemen, is this familiar to you?
Pretty good news.
Sorry, sir.
But how long will it take? And what about our friend? Will someone pay for his treatment?
Pressurize the company. But for now, get rid of the stained clothes and rinse any phenol-affected skin. No one else should touch the canal today.
Thank you, we'll do that. Let's go to the chief doctor for help.
Wait here, Watson, and keep an eye on the doors. I'll scout the premises.
Will do. Be careful down there.
Wait. What's happening?
What is this place? Where am I? Strangely cold. Something is missing. This cannot have been under the port of London all along. Is it an illusion? The only way forward is the abyss. Phew, I didn't die. It is icy cold and pulsating. My heart, be calm.
Now I am somewhere else. How? It's harder to breathe here. It's like it stares right through me. is that? Oh, no! It was unspeakably revolting. My head is already spinning. When will this end? The stench. On my head. What just happened? One down, one to go. Oh, that is truly revolting. Frozen and pulsing almost like it has a heart. Did I get out? John?
What is it, Holmes?
Watson?
Holmes, where are you? Holmes. Holmes. Are you all right?
Fine. Watson, I'm fine. Thank you for asking.
Fine? By Jove, you should have heard the way you called out my name.
It was just a game of shadows.
I'm glad. This place gives me the chills. What are we dealing with?
Something that's finally interesting. Did you hear that, Watson?
I hear you.
Kianak, Flegethor, Lebumna, Siaha, Inguft. Finglui, Maglanafa, Cthulhu, Rilia, Waganagal, Fatagan.
What on earth?
How is that possible?
An American passport. Amos Colby. Someone got their hands dirty painting this with blood. I've never seen a pattern like this before. Old blood stains. At least 24 pendants, all identical and made of tin. This box contained a narcotic substance, much like the one in Kimihira's brazier. Black Edelweiss Institute, established 17-something. It seems made for simple experiments. I wager they could not afford a better set. Cyanosis of the lips, marks on the neck. This man was strangled. His abdomen is severely bloated. Deep scratches left in a frenzy. A small bloodstain, but not serious. The strength it would take to carry this crate, let alone break it. Miserable food, mass-produced.
Holmes, are you sure you've left no stone unturned?
I must have seen this one before. That explains my hallucinations. These clothes are missing buttons. They were forcefully removed. Dumpra, a staple of lepcha attire in Nepal, gathered from dozens of people at the very least. Oh, potent. This sensor has more narcotic residues. What on earth? It looks like the scribbling of madmen. Someone used mud to draw a cross in a rectangle. Why? Fine rope work, cut by a finer blade. These clothes were crudely cut off someone. An American, judging by the style. Many people were brought to this place. Their abductors stripped off their clothes and discarded them in a pile. The prisoners were kept in a soporific trance by the use of narcotics. A few tried to resist, but alas, in vain. After a few days, everyone was stuffed in a crate and sent elsewhere. Only one captive was left behind. He was strangled to death on this altar.
What the hell is happening, Holmes?
calm yourself.
Cannot be. What is it? Oh my God. Please tell me we found all we needed to, Holmes.
I think we found a bit more than that.
Yet we have no clue as to where those people have been taken.
And that's where you're wrong, Watson. We have more than enough. I just need to connect the dots. How about you pack your suitcase in the meantime, my dear fellow? Just in case. Dr. Watson, how does a trip to Switzerland sound to you?
It sounds unexpected. What makes you think we should head there?
It's all about the box with narcotics and Mr. Colby's clue, the cross inside a rectangle. Put two and two together, add a dash of research, and what do you get? The Black Edelweiss Institute in Interlaken, Switzerland. If we hurry, we can still catch tonight's train. As grateful as I have been for your company, Dr. Watson, I'm afraid you shall have to investigate Edelweiss alone.
Hello? Mr. Holmes, I fear you overestimate my abilities.
Nonsense. You are a military man, a bastion of British courage.
I'm no such thing. As a doctor, I avoided most combat, save for one dreadful day. My troop was ambushed in a village with innocents caught in the crossfire. Too many to help.
The man with the rosary. He was one of them?
A translator, yes. We were trapped. 6 soldiers and myself. I thought it was the end. But Lieutenant Paget refused to go quietly. The men prepared for a final stand. I rose to follow, but Paget shook his head. He told me to run. That I had other men to save. They charged, and I fled through the rear. So you see, Mr. Holmes, I am a coward.
The logic seems inescapable.
Yes.
You, a surgeon by trade, would have been perfectly useless in that conflict.
What? No.
And how many men have you helped since? Ailments eased, troubles tended?
No more than a handful. Truth be told, I have become somewhat of a recluse.
How many people could you help with 30 years ahead of you? Dozens? Hundreds? Patchett was correct. You can cease your self-recrimination.
Holmes, I don't know what to say.
I would start with, I am Dr. John Watson, may I look around? The Edelweiss staff will doubtless be eager to show off their facilities to a fellow physician. I have already taken the liberty of sending a letter on your behalf to request a visit.
And what of you?
I shall be pursuing other avenues. Should you see anything troublesome or improper, simply notify the local authorities. Otherwise, try a little analysis yourself. You know my methods. Apply them.